As you know, throughout the entire season, I have been talking about the situation with mine and her inventions. Where I say how not only it shows the hard work of creating these inventions, but it shows the dangers of also displaying these inventions in this kind of time. Like I say, where most isekais take their stuff for granted, where you can just create all this stuff, try to advance their society, this Western fantasy society, without any consequences whatsoever, without actually thinking about the consequences that they could have on the society without it being good or bad. A sense of Bookworm seems to be the only one to really put up uh, an actual, like a consequence of creating these things, make you really think. Because you see all kinds of isekais out there, so many from trash to good, where they just create so many ideas from the modern era, even surprisingly having a knowledge of how that stuff works. The average person don't know how the average stuff works in their own society, but yet for some reason, in isekai, this average below loser is supposed to know how to create all these things, which to me shouldn't make any sense. Just because they get some good power, just because you go to a second world doesn't mean you become a better person or you are good at everything all of a sudden. Even if you are given ultimate power, if you still you if you're who you are still in the past, you still could be a crap person. Unfortunately, I'm getting off topic here, but it is something that a lot of isekais, I do mean a lot, fail to do with no character development whatsoever. Making you question what's the point of it even being an isekai in the first place, or any learning whatsoever. As soon as a bookworm really takes this and takes it to a serious point, in a way, before I really get to that, let's actually talk about Sylvester. I feel like the creators of A Sense of Bookworm really probably get some, not saying they do, but the influence from the creator of Mushoku Tensei, where you have tons of characters, and sometimes your opinion about them can change over time. You see in Mushoku Tensei, you have all kind of characters where you think you're disgusted with, or you hate, but as time goes on, you start to understand these characters, understand what they're doing. You may still think they're terrible people, but you start to understand where they're coming from. You see their perspective. You see them change, want to be better, but sometimes situations will not let them be better. You haven't noticed that. You know, Paul, Rudius, Eris, and even Elena Lays, which she yet seen her true character, but it's really good. Chapter is dropped, by the way. I'll review that tomorrow. But you see these characters in different point perspective of them. Same with Sylvester. I still think he's a tryhard, but in the end, he does remind me of that one uncle that, as a child, I looked up to. I think they were the coolest uncle of all time. They could do so many awesome things. They always show up late to the party or unexpectedly. You didn't think they would come, but they're there. It brings so much energy. And all the children, all the young ones look up to him. He's so cool, and they're not strict like their parents. But then you see the adults around them, like, he's good and stuff. They have this, aura about them, how they can't stand them. As a kid, I probably would have looked up to Sylvester, but as an adult, I might see him as a kind of a pompous, annoying nincompoop in a way, where he's trying so hard to be a show off, to be amazing all the time, be so upfront, because he has that childlike spirit. But because of that, you see in this episode, all the kids seem to look up to him. Only reason why I look up to him because she still has her consciousness of her previous life as an adult. So therefore, mine didn't really look up to him, but also saw him as quite as a handful. Even Benno himself was getting a serious headache from him and stuff, despite how amazing he probably is. But when it came to the kids he went hunting with and the orphanage children, they seemed to like him very much. So that's pretty much how his character is. As an adult, you probably see him as annoying, but you do kind of respect him. But as a child, you see his character and you look up to him in a way. So I kind of like they did that. I like this is something I grew up because I had an uncle like that where when I was a kid and in high school and stuff, I looked up to this dude because he was pretty cool and he'd always did amazing things, and I always wanted to hope he would show up sometimes when it comes to family meetings and parties and stuff. He always shows up late, and all the other adults like, oh, here he comes and stuff. Like, why do I hate on him so much? But now as an adult, I understand why the adults grown about him and what he does sometimes can be pompous or ignorance and stuff. But I understand him now. I understand that he is sometimes irresponsible, but he has his good points as well. So that's the entire character so far of Sylvester. I have a better understanding of him now, which is good. That's what I call good development, at least, or at least character revelation, I guess, in a way. You get to understand a character more as time goes on. Now, let's talk about the thing again with mine again, which is probably the majority of the episode, is when she's creating another invention, and the high priest is like, really? Another invention? And it's making things faster, making things good. She's on a roll. But then he comes out to come and sit her down and tell her, you gotta stop. You really gotta stop. Because yes, these inventions are good, but he did a good example when he showed the two books, the books that are normally made and the books that are made by her. How the other books have to take so many resources to go to so many other places. People need to do in other areas just to get this book made. Well, he showed her Mind's book and said that this book was made in one place and was made in a quicker time. Now imagine if you gave this to the people start doing this. Imagine all the other jobs to be lost immediately. Because you live in a town where not everyone just can apply for a job. You get it, sometimes through name, you get these certain skills or blood relatives. Skills are passed down, so people can monopolize on that market. So now you have people who get their hands on that market and now they're doing it, pressing for it. You may think this is a good idea, but this could collapse the business and economic structure. Now, a lot of people who have that job are put out of a job now. Like, you're useless. Get out of here. When you show advanced technology that advanced to a society, it could crumble because if they're not ready for that technology itself. Yes, there are tons of technology out there we're not even sure that exists right now. And you're wondering, why don't we have it? But you gotta ask yourselves, are we ready for it? What if that piece of technology comes out to society, out to the public, and is being mass produced by anybody? It can throw so many people out the job, so much value, and when it comes to certain sources will be lost. And then it could become a crash in certain areas, a collapse. This thing is not as stable as you think it is. Because of that, one little click from the domino could cause the entire thing to fall down. So that's the thing I do understand about what the high priest is saying. Be careful of what you do. So he put a limit on her. Like, don't do this for the next 2 years. In 2 years, you can continue making children's books, but even then, limit yourself. Be careful what you do. Not only that, you also could cause even more grudges. People are already trying to kidnap you and hurt you as it already is. Now, if this, they're not even going to hold back. Like, okay, this girl is showing off. How is it possible that she's creating so many inventions? Because when you really think about throughout history, even when did people create so many inventions, it took years, gaps of time for that invention to even catch up. Even when the product was finished, it still took years to get out there in the public, for it to start working, for people to have confidence in it, to gain a certain value within that product, within that tool that you will create. So he was creating things just out of the blue. Like, wow, she just pulled this out of her butt, just like that. Wow, that's unbelievable. A lot of word will spread, especially towards nobles, and they'll use their power to crush you, and to the point where the power of the church can't protect you at all because it's too much eyes on you. It's too much. So that's why mine needs to be careful of just doing as she pleases. You need to think about these things. And the next topic is about family. He told her if he wants to be adopted by now, but she doesn't want to because, in her past, she didn't cherish her family in the past. She wants to cherish the family she has now to the last moment she can. So therefore, she's like, no, I have to keep doing it. So it's like mine, even though she's an adult mentally, she has that child mentality of her body where she just wants everything, She wants to keep making her inventions while at the same time being with her family. She doesn't want to let go of any of these things, but sooner or later she will have to make a sacrifice. She will have to let something go in order to survive for her sake or for her family's sake. Either way, something's got to give. Just like the song goes, something's got to give. Bing Crosby, I believe. Yeah. So anyways, next part was just wholesome with her coming home and the mother finally giving birth to a baby boy and stuff and celebrations happening. Delia is still being a spy for the other douchebag, by the way. And it appears that one of the servants is up to something no good. Like, hey, another noble's coming out is coming as a guest soon, and they're into little kids, little girls, and stuff. And in a way, you feel sorry for Dahlia as well, because even though you're like, oh man, this girl's a snitch, she's a spy, but this is all she knows. She wasn't born without family. She wasn't born with love. She was born to survive by any means necessary. So don't look down on her because of the way she acts. This is the only life she knows, in a way. She doesn't know what it means to stick out for someone, to defend someone, to cherish someone, because she wasn't born with that kind of family nourishment. You have to understand that. So because of that, she's like, okay, I got to survive on my own. She sees what happens to other orphans who are completely useless. She sees that when they're useless, they're thrown away, they're forgotten, they're starved, all that stuff. So in her mind, she has to do whatever she can to survive. She's using her intellect, her gossip, her wit, in order to do what she can. So even though she's with Mind, she can't always trust Mind to bail her out on things. She knows that Mind could leave at any day. Something could happen. Who knows? So therefore, she has to look out for herself. I know it's selfish, but in this tough world, especially a world like that, it is completely true. Now, she's about to fall into a trap, a main trap, man. Like that, I guess she was talking about the other chick who used to play that instrument a lot, and now she's like upset that the others get to go by and be with this nice little girl named Mine while she's stuck here. I guess being treated like crap. How things change for her, things aren't going well for her, but she's seeing that those who went with Mine, life hasn't really changed that for all the worse, but for the better, you know. So she's mad, she's jealous, and salty. And like I said, you gotta see her point perspective too. Her life sucks too, and so that's what she's doing. But sometimes we do spiteful things when we feel it's very salty and jelly. I'm sorry, that's the truth. So that being said, things are about to have a little calm before a storm. A trap has been displayed, and even though the boy has been born, Mine will have to soon say goodbye. I wonder if she'll be able to visit her family when she does get adopted into this noble family. I wonder. It's going to happen sooner or later, people. Prepare for the melancholy. That's all I'm saying. The last thing I want to talk about is why it's also a bad reason to have this technology. You see Mine's world, which is our world, which has invested so much into technology. Everything's a give and take. Yes, we're independent, but yet we also turn to a point where we rely too much on technology. We are more of an individual than as a group as a whole. So we only think for ourselves instead of as each other. Because of that, things become wary, as you can see in our time right now. But if things go by magic and use tools by magic instead in religion, things will diverge from the other path of technology. I've seen this used in Mushoku Tensei, and I've also seen this used in other isekais where they diverge different timelines, saying where it happens when you do a route through magic, you do a route through technology. How some things could work and some things could fail. Each side has their pros and cons and stuff. So there's that. So either way, yeah, that's all I want to talk about at the end, a little snippet. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and also thank you for the commenters who've been commenting on this review of Ascendance of Bookworm. Believe it or not, this is the most watched thing of the season when it comes to my channel, which I'm shocked. Hey, I'm glad for all that. I thought we shielded her or something, but I guess not. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox on Matinee. Signing out.